It was supposed to be an ordinary morning in suburban Maryland. A quiet neighborhood. A row of identical townhomes, most of them filled with small families or couples trying to start one. The sun had just begun to rise when the scream shattered the calm. It came from 47B, Maple Grove Lane. Detectives arrived to a locked bathroom door and a gruesome scene inside. 29-year-old Ellen Mercer was found dead in her upstairs bathroom, blooded, lifeless, and alone. The door was locked from the inside. The window was shut. No sign of forced entry. No weapon was immediately visible. The call had come from her fiancé, Marcus Bell. He claimed he found her after hearing a loud crash from upstairs. "I couldn't get in," he said. "I broke the door down." But questions would soon pile up. Key question: how does someone die in a locked room, with no clear sign of a killer? Marcus Bell, 32, was a local school teacher, well-liked, soft-spoken, engaged to Ellen for over a year. He told investigators he had just returned from a jog when he heard the noise upstairs. He claimed Ellen had been feeling off lately, troubled by anxiety, but never violent or self-harming. "She wasn't herself this week," he told police. "But she wouldn't do this." He walked them through the sequence. Entered the house. Called her name. No answer. Ran upstairs. Heard the water running. Knocked. Then a crash. I kicked it open. The bathroom was in disarray. A shattered mirror. Blood on the tiles. Ellen's body was partially slumped over the tub. Still, everything pointed to a single issue. The door had been locked from the inside. There were no fingerprints except hers and Marcus's. No footprints. No sign of anyone else. Detectives scoured the room. The blood spatter was oddly distributed. Too linear, too confined. Forensic teams noted it wasn't consistent with a slip and fall. More concerning, there was a dent in the wall, at head level, as if Ellen had been pushed hard. But there were no defensive wounds on her body. No signs of restraint. And strangely, no sharp object found nearby, despite a deep cut on her neck. The bathroom window was latched shut, from the inside. There were no fire escape routes, no adjacent rooftops, nothing but a sheer drop. Was it a suicide? A freak accident? Or something far more sinister? Dr. Lena Graves, the county's lead medical examiner, conducted the autopsy. The results raised eyebrows across the department. Time of death, 6:40 a.m. Cause, sharp force trauma to the neck. But here's where it got eerie. The cut was precise. Too precise. As if made by someone who knew exactly what they were doing. Toxicology revealed no sedatives or alcohol. No signs of struggle under her fingernails. But traces of a foreign hair were found on her blouse, coarse, dark, short. Not hers. Not Marcus's. Had someone else been there? Detectives re-examined the door. It had indeed been locked from the inside, but the mechanism was old. And worn. Could it have been manipulated? Ellen Mercer wasn't just a statistic. She was a rising architect, known for her detail-oriented designs and soft demeanor. Friends described her as thoughtful, a perfectionist, occasionally withdrawn, but always kind. She and Marcus had been planning their wedding for the following spring. They had already booked a venue. But something had changed in the past month. Ellen had withdrawn from work projects. Skipped a few client calls. Her best friend, Dana, noticed the shift. She looked tired. Not physically, but emotionally, Dana said. Like she was carrying something. Could Ellen have been hiding a secret? Investigators checked street cameras around Maple Grove Lane. The footage showed Marcus returning from his jog, just as he claimed. Alone. But at 5:57 a.m., an unknown figure appeared briefly in frame. Dressed in dark clothing, a hood covering their head. The person never approached Ellen's home directly but walked past it, twice. It was odd. The person seemed to pause in front of the house both times. Lingering. Watching. Could this figure have entered the house unseen? Or were they just a passerby? Neighbors were questioned. One mentioned seeing someone lurking a few days earlier, but no one got a good look. Was Ellen being watched before her death? Digital forensics pulled Ellen's email history. One message, sent the night before her death, stood out. The subject line read, "We need to talk. I'm not safe." It was sent to an encrypted address. Investigators traced it to a burner account. No reply was ever received. More digging uncovered a draft email, never sent. It read, "I'm scared of what I know. I think he's been in the house." Who was she referring to? And what did she know? Marcus was shown the email. He insisted he had no idea what it meant. "We didn't have secrets," he said. At least, I thought we didn't. Enter Julian Voss, Ellen's ex-boyfriend, a photographer with a temper and a past restraining order from another former partner. He and Ellen had broken up 3 years ago, but he'd sent a flurry of messages over the last 2 months. Just want to talk. Still think about you. You can't avoid me forever. He denied any involvement. Claimed he was in New York the morning of her death. But his alibi? Flimsy. A hotel reservation, but no witness to verify. Police grew suspicious. Could he be the hooded figure? Was this about revenge? Or obsession? Julian was brought in for questioning. While attention shifted to Julian, Marcus's timeline began to unravel. Surveillance showed him jogging at 6 a.m., but phone records indicated a call made from Ellen's phone at 6:10 to Marcus's number. He had told police he was running at the time, but cell tower data showed both phones pinging from inside the home. When confronted, Marcus stuttered. Maybe I came back early. Maybe I forgot. But the cracks were spreading. Had he been home when Ellen died? And if so, why lie? Detectives brought in a locksmith to examine the bathroom door. He explained that the interior lock, though appearing secure, could be manipulated with a small flat tool, like a screwdriver or knife, from the outside. Even more damning, minor scuff marks were found near the latch. This meant one terrifying possibility. Someone could have locked the door after the crime was committed. Suddenly, the impossible murder in a locked room wasn't so impossible. Detectives tracked down Leo Brandt, a PI Ellen had quietly hired. She asked him to follow someone, Marcus Bell. She suspected he was lying about his job, about his past. She believed he was hiding something big. Brandt's files revealed that Marcus had been meeting with a woman regularly, late at night. Her name? Dr. Valerie Shaw, a grief counselor, and Marcus's ex. Had Ellen confronted him? Brandt confirmed Ellen was deeply afraid. She told me she didn't feel alone in the house, even when Marcus wasn't there. Dr. Valerie Shaw ran a grief counseling clinic downtown. To clients, she was a warm presence. But her past was checkered. 2 former partners accused her of manipulation. One claimed she made him think he was going crazy. When questioned, Valerie denied any recent contact with Marcus. But text messages said otherwise. Late-night exchanges. She suspects. Don't say anything. We're almost there. What were they planning? And what did Ellen walk into? One neighbor had a camera pointed directly at Ellen and Marcus's house. They had never checked the footage. But the day of Ellen's death, the camera caught a shocking detail. A man exiting the side gate at 6:42 a.m., just 2 minutes after her estimated time of death. He was wearing a hood, same as the surveillance figure seen days earlier. Frame-by-frame analysis showed a scar on his left wrist. Julian Voss had one just like it. But when shown the footage, Julian smirked. That's not me. Was he lying, or was someone trying to frame him? The blood pattern in the bathroom was puzzling, but one key clue had gone unnoticed. A towel, stuffed behind the toilet, smeared in fresh blood. DNA analysis, 2 sources. Ellen's and another unidentified male. Neither Marcus nor Julian matched. So who did it belong to? The detectives ran it through CODIS. A match came back within hours, Aaron Decker, a convicted felon released 6 months earlier. Known for burglaries and 1 home invasion gone wrong. But what was he doing at Ellen's house? Aaron Decker's name sent chills through the team. He had a long history of home invasions, quiet, clean jobs, until one went deadly in 2018. Now he was back, allegedly reformed, living 3 towns over. When confronted, Aaron denied ever being near Maple Grove Lane. But his phone pinged near the neighborhood that morning. Even worse, his fingerprint was found on a light switch in Ellen's downstairs hallway. He had been inside the house. But how did he enter a locked home? And why would a burglar kill, then stage the scene so meticulously? Was it a robbery gone wrong, or was someone using Aaron to muddy the waters? Bank records showed Ellen withdrew $2,500 in cash 3 days before her death. She told no one. Investigators traced the serial numbers from the bills. Some were found in Decker's apartment. He confessed Ellen paid him to get something from someone named Valerie. She never said what, only that it was insurance. But Aaron said he never got the chance. She called it off the night before. Said she was going to handle it herself. Had Ellen discovered a plot against her? And was her attempt to confront it what led to her death? Digging deeper into Dr. Valerie Shaw, investigators found a disturbing link. She had been treating Ellen for relationship anxiety. Confidentiality agreements made access difficult. but one patient agreed to speak. She told me Valerie made her paranoid, convinced her someone close was betraying her. It started with anxiety, then obsession. Had Valerie been manipulating Ellen, feeding her fears? Or was she helping Ellen uncover the truth Marcus didn't want known? In a locked drawer in Ellen's home office, police discovered a small digital voice recorder. Its contents shocked the entire investigative team. Over a dozen recordings, seemingly taken in secret. Ellen had been recording her conversations with Marcus. In one, Marcus can be heard whispering, "You don't know what I've done, what I'm capable of." Ellen responds, "Then tell me, before someone else finds out." She sounded frightened. He sounded cornered. Was this a threat? Or a desperate confession? Forensic imaging revisited bathroom photos from the scene. On the mirror, barely visible at the time, a single handprint had formed in the condensation. A right hand, but Ellen was left-handed, and the positioning suggested someone standing behind her. The print was partial, but enhanced scans allowed a match to be attempted. It wasn't Ellen's. It wasn't Marcus's. It wasn't Julian's or Aaron's. A new suspect, or an accomplice. The handprint opened the door to more questions. Was Ellen ambushed by someone she trusted? Detectives scoured nearby properties for additional surveillance footage. At last, one doorbell camera caught something startling. A man slipping through the side gate of Ellen's home wearing gloves and carrying what looked like a small metallic object. Timestamp, 6:28 a.m. Just 12 minutes before Ellen's estimated time of death. His face was never fully captured, but he wore a dark hoodie and walked with a distinct limp. Aaron Decker had no limp. Julian Voss didn't either. Marcus? No injury ever documented. A new suspect. One no one saw coming. A subpoena into Dr. Valerie Shaw's financial records revealed payments to a storage facility across town, under a false name. Inside the unit, detectives found boxes of case files. Not just Ellen's, but dozens of others. Taped interviews, voice memos, patient histories, many recorded without consent. One labeled EM, Final Notes, stood out. It described Ellen as unstable, paranoid, and nearing collapse. But what disturbed investigators most was Valerie's handwritten note. "If she talks, we all fall." Who was we? And what were they hiding? Digital tracking revealed Marcus and Valerie had met 2 nights before Ellen's death, despite claiming not to have seen each other. CCTV footage from a gas station captured them arguing in a parked car for over 30 minutes. At one point, Valerie slaps Marcus across the face. Lip readers reconstructed part of the exchange. "She's too close. You said we were done with this." Whatever this was, it seemed Ellen had uncovered it. Ellen's recent legal activity revealed 2 major developments. 1. She had drafted a will only a week before her death, naming Dana, her best friend, as sole beneficiary. 2. She had also visited the county clerk's office, alone, to void her marriage license. She was planning to end things with Marcus. Had he found out? And if so, was the motive personal or financial? News of Valerie's storage unit leaked. Her clinic was shut down. Several patients filed complaints. Under pressure, Valerie confessed to unethical practices but maintained her innocence in Ellen's death. She was unraveling on her own, she told police. But text messages to Marcus continued even after Ellen's death. "Stay calm. Don't ruin everything now." Marcus denied ongoing contact until confronted with the phone records. Then came a chilling response. "I did what I had to do." Was it a confession or manipulation? A routine sweep of Ellen's house for more clues revealed a small camera hidden in a vent near the upstairs hallway, wired to a recording box inside her closet. Footage from the morning of her death captured someone creeping up the stairs. The figure was gloved, hooded, and tall. Though their face remained hidden, one thing stood out: the limp. The footage also showed Marcus arriving minutes later, panicked, yelling, breaking down the door. He hadn't been the killer. But had he known who was? The limp was the key. It led detectives to a man named Silas Trent, a former patient of Dr. Valerie Shaw. He had a violent past, schizophrenia, and had been institutionalized for a violent outburst 2 years prior. He walked with a limp from a car accident. Records showed Valerie visited him at a transitional housing unit a week before Ellen's murder. What did she promise him? And why would she unleash someone unstable onto Ellen? Located at a halfway house, Silas was brought in for questioning. At first, he was incoherent. But under observation, he began drawing images of a woman in a bathroom, blood on tile, a handprint on glass. In a moment of clarity, Silas muttered. She wouldn't stop. So they made me. Said it would help me heal. They? Who were they? And was this all part of a larger manipulation? Emails recovered from Valerie's encrypted server revealed a shocking truth. She had manipulated several former patients into performing illegal tasks under the guise of therapeutic closure. Some stole from exes. Some stalked rivals. Silas had been the most extreme case. And Marcus had known. He had funded parts of the program using Ellen's money. Was it a twisted form of therapy, or a criminal ring? With mounting evidence, police arrested Marcus Bell and Dr. Valerie Shaw on charges of conspiracy, obstruction of justice, and second-degree murder. Silas was remanded to a secure psychiatric facility. The case shook the town, and the country. A locked-room murder, once thought impossible, unraveled into a complex web of betrayal, manipulation, and exploitation. But was that really the end? While in custody, Marcus's behavior shifted. He wept in interviews, pleaded innocence, claimed he was manipulated by Valerie. But then detectives found a video diary Ellen had recorded weeks before her death. In it, she said, "Marcus is not who I thought he was. He doesn't love me, he watches me. Sometimes I wake up and he's just staring." The diary revealed the slow unraveling of her trust, her growing fear, her suspicion that he was poisoning her with misinformation, gaslighting her into silence. This was not a man grieving. It was a man cornered by the truth. As media coverage exploded, a third woman came forward. Cassandra Reed, former patient of Valerie, briefly dated Marcus 6 years prior. She described a pattern eerily similar to Ellen's: rapid romance, emotional manipulation, sudden isolation, gaslighting, then disappearance. She managed to escape, but had filed a police report no one followed up on. It had been buried under a mental health claim. Detectives now had a pattern of behavior, a chilling MO. One of Valerie's former clinic employees agreed to speak anonymously. "We all knew," she said. She believed breaking people down made them more obedient. She called it emotional reprogramming. The employee provided access to clinic surveillance files. Several showed Valerie in private meetings with Marcus, always unrecorded. The file names were scrubbed, but the timestamps were damning. Some occurred after Ellen's death. Valerie had claimed she hadn't seen Marcus since Ellen's funeral. A lie. Digging deeper, authorities uncovered a dark subculture among Valerie's most loyal patients. They referred to her as the Gate. She led closed sessions where participants were encouraged to erase past relationships, by any means necessary. She claimed this freed them. Marcus, her former lover, had been part of the first circle. What started as therapy had evolved into indoctrination. And Ellen had gotten too close. On a wiped flash drive found inside a hollowed book in Ellen's closet, digital forensics recovered a corrupted file, a voice note recorded the night before she died. "I think I finally understand. Valerie's using him, and he's too far gone. I'm going to confront them both tomorrow. If anything happens to me, it wasn't an accident." Her voice trembled. She knew, and she tried to stop it. The courtroom was packed. True crime fans, journalists, Ellen's friends, and family, all waiting to see justice unfold. Marcus pled not guilty. Valerie tried to pin the entire plan on him. He came to me. He wanted her out of the way. I tried to stop him. But evidence, texts, videos, emails, told a different story. One of partnership. One of manipulation. And Ellen's voice from beyond the grave sealed the narrative. In a surprise move, Silas Trent took the stand. Medicated, clearer than before, he told the court. Valerie said she'd help me find peace. That I needed to stop Ellen to earn it. I thought I was protecting myself. His testimony painted Valerie as the puppeteer, Marcus as the willing enabler, and himself as the broken weapon. A jury listened in silence. After 8 days of deliberation, the jury returned its verdict. Marcus Bell, guilty of second-degree murder, conspiracy to commit murder, and obstruction of justice. Valerie Shaw, guilty of conspiracy to commit murder, coercion, unlicensed psychiatric practices, and negligent homicide. Silas Trent, remanded to long-term psychiatric care under state supervision. Justice delivered, but the scars remained. In the wake of the trial, Ellen's best friend Dana launched the Ellen Mercer Foundation, dedicated to protecting those in emotionally manipulative relationships and exposing unethical therapy practices. Laws were introduced requiring stronger oversight of private counseling clinics. Ellen's story, though tragic, ignited change. Her voice would never be silenced again. What began as a chilling mystery, a woman dead in a locked bathroom, became a tale of coercion, psychological warfare, and systemic failure. The door was never the real mystery. It was what Ellen saw behind it that cost her life. She tried to warn us. She left the clues. And in the end, she helped catch her killers. If this story moved you, subscribe to True Crime Hub. Share Ellen's story. Speak out when something feels wrong. Your voice matters. Because behind every locked door, there's a truth fighting to get out.